On October 9, 1942, 20,000 feet above a jungle island called Guadalcanal, a 22-year-old Ayakan islet named Mayan Cal was fighting for his life. He was flying a Guan F-4F Wildcat, a stubby, K-based fight, and he was being hunted. His Ine was a Mitsubishi A6M0, a lane so light, so agile, it felt like it was for the future. It could turn inside the Wildcat's ADS twice Onui. It could clib like a rocket. For the Astye, the Zio had been a ghost, a Hanto that owned the skies fo peel habo to the Philippines. Mayan Cal was an ace, but right now he was just eat. The Zio was on his tail. He ushed his Wildcat into a die. The Ayakan lane gained seed, but the Zio stayed with high. He ald had, it. The Wildcat ascended, but slowly, like the P-38, it felt ushy. The Zio was already the, anticiating his own Onui, its cannons winking. Cal's cockpit exploded. Channel toe thuff his leg. His controls went dead. He was going down. He managed to bail out, landing in the shake-infested weights, sad only by a Ayakel. This was the reality of the AIY in the Pacific. This was Guadalcanal. But just weeks late, another far boy fo South Dakota would clib into the say sky and change everything. It wasn't a wa. It was a eat jinda. A lace we Ayakan islets we being fed one by one into the teeth of the Janese wa sheen. The Ayakan s called the islets the cactus ai fos. The islets Thesiles called the base Henderson field the Gayad. The obel wasn't just the Zio. It was the Doctine. The exets back in Ayaka, the engineers had a sile solution. Ni ton with a Zio. It was the say Doctine as the P-38 islets. Use your seed, use your AO, die, shoot, and un. But in the chaotic, swirling dog fights Onui Guadalcanal, that Doctine was getting killed single day. The Janese islets we Edians. They had fought Onui China, Onui Peel Habo. They knew they acafed, they baited the Ayakans into tons. They knew the Wildcat was slow to ascend. They knew exactly we to shoot. The Ayakans we losing deceitly. What the Cactus AI foes didn't know, what the Edian Janese islets couldn't possibly know was that the solution was on its way. But it wasn't a new lane. It wasn't a new Doctine fo Washington. It was a 27-year-old Fay. And so unassuming he had been told he was too old to fly in combat, and who had leaned to shoot not for a ilite annual but by hunting Jack Abbots on the frozen lanes of South Dakota. This is the story of Joe's J. Foss and the sile forgotten Fay's tick that aid high Ayakas ace of aces. To understand how a single Fay could teoize the Janese AI fos, you fist hay to understand the fa. Joe Foss was not a key soldi. He was born in 1915 on a Eot unelectrified farm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. His childhood wasn't sent in classes. It was sent in the dit, in the cold, and in the wind. This was the Dade Isis Goliath story, just like Sio he. But Foss's Goliath wasn't just the Ine. It was life itself. The Geet Dieschen hit South Dakota like an Adderley Bage. The land died Euro. The Coes failed. The Faley had nothing. Foss's Tsisu, that finished Git, was built for necessity. He and his faith would hunt to at food on the table. And this is where the ceased artification begins. When a 12-year-old Joe Foss hunted Jack Abbots, he didn't hay a sco. He had an old shotgun. And one you'll foe his faith. Don't waste shells. A Jack Abbott doesn't in a state line. It wheeze. It dats. It eases. To hit it, you couldn't AI at it. You had to AI where it was going to be. It's called deflection shooting. While other kids we leaning ath, Foss was calculating lead, windage, and seed in his head in a fraction of a second. He wasn't just a good shot. He was a idato. He understood the science of hitting a owing target. This was his iron sight. This was his ENOY. It was a si that Ilite annuals couldn't teach. But Foss didn't want to hunt abbots. He wanted to fly. In 1933, his faith took High to an AI show. He saw a Maine Coast squadron flying bylanes. He was 18 and he was hooked. He told his faith, "That's what I going to do." The ath was iosable, he was a Ro'o Fa kid. He had no education. When his faith was tragically killed by a downed O-line, Joe at 19 had to do out of school to on the Fa. He was Tade, but he had that sisu. He woke the Fa by day and took night classes. It took High 6 years to get enough credits to ent college. He woked his way thuff washing dishes to get a ILATES license. When Peel Habo was attacked, Joe Foss was 26 years old, he aced to enlist in the Navy to be a pilot. He was ejected. He was too old. In 1941, the Kyoto off-age for a fight pilot was 25. They told High he could be a flight instructor. Teach other kids how to fly. It was a devastating blow. It was the engineering office telling McKenna the cables we within sec. It was the execs telling Sio Haiha to use a SCO. The doctrine said he was unfit for combat, so Foss did what McKenna did. He broke the yules. He found a loophole. He joined the Maine Coast Rec. He became an instructor.